Hi, and welcome to my scrapbook table. Today's layout is a photo of us from vacation, and this page will actually be the final page of our vacation layouts. And it's mainly a travel themed layout, not necessarily our vacation in particular, just travel in general. I'm using this stamp set from Simple Stories called Let's Go. I'm also using a recipe from the the Scrap Room blog, September's Freaky Fast Friday formula, I believe it's called, for September, and that's where I got the sizes of the strips of paper I was using in that 6-inch circle. I'm using some VersaFine black ink along with my Misty tool to stamp some travel related words and images on this 6-inch circle. I'm using a scrap of paper for the circle, so it's not a full 6-inch circle, but that section is going to be covered, so it won't matter. And I wanted to get that scrap used up from my drawer. Here I'm using some VersaFine Clair, I believe it's Morning Mist, to ink the edges of my papers. And I do apologize, I'm extremely stuffy today. I got my allergy shots this morning, and lately when I get those shots, it's been causing me to be stuffy. So I apologize for the stuffy sounding voice. So I mentioned that I'm using a recipe from the Scrap Room blog. I'm also using Scraptember's Day 11 theme, which is a selfie, and we used a selfie stick to take this photo of the two of us. The papers are some coordinations. That's what the blue background is that you see there, from 2014, so I was glad to get that on layout. There's a couple strips from Maggie Holmes' Round Trip collection. There's a Creative Memories paper. I have this card that looks like a map. It's actually cut out from a piece of scrapbook paper. And the stickers that I put on later are mostly from Creative Memories too. I'm going to use this ledger type page paper for my journaling. It's not quite as long as I wanted because I cut it from the recipe, so I end up cutting it in pieces to lengthen it a little bit. So I'm using my T-square here to try to get these papers going straight. I love this Creative Memories paper. I only have a little bit of it left. Any paper that reminds me of water is a favorite. I did also back that photo. Besides the black mat, there are 3 layers of scrap cardstock behind it to bump it up and give the page a little bit of dimension. I ended up trimming a little more of that map piece of paper off just to give me a little more space. So I went ahead and re-inked that. And I'm deciding exactly where I want this to go. Measuring to make sure it's where I want it to be and it's even. Then I also use that T-square ruler in a minute to make sure the bottom piece matches up with the top as far as where it's positioned. You can see 2 other stamps there to the left. Those are also from the Simple Stories Let's Go stamp set, and I'm going to use those to create some pieces that will go in my embellishment clusters, because I don't really have any embellishments that go with what I'm using. So I ended up making my own. And I had decided that the circle needed a few more pieces, stamped on it, so I went ahead and did that. Some of those stamps, there's obviously the big travel, there's enjoy the journey, let's go, hit the road, take off, and going places. I also have a geotag there and some cameras. I'm not sure where the camera came from. It's in a stamp set I have, but I don't have the original packaging. So there I went ahead and stamped some luggage tags and luggage, and now I'm using some alcohol markers. These are just an inexpensive set that I bought on sale at Hobby Lobby. I wanted to try alcohol markers without making a big investment first, so I picked these up. It was a very reasonable price. I think there's a set of 24 there, and it's enough for me to try them out and see what I think. I end up combining the blue with the green to create a color that looks good with the colors that are already on the page, and I also use a gray and a silver to finish these off. I didn't have you watch me do all that coloring. It took quite a while I watched a chopped video. Here's a glassine bag, and it's a little too big, so I end up using some pinking shears. I have my mom's pinking shears that are probably older than I am to trim off the top, and I tuck that in there, and then the luggage tags and the luggage sit on that. I think it's funny that in this stamp set the luggage tags are bigger than the luggage. Those go on there, and I did bump one up on some Stampin' Dimensionals to give it a little bit of lift. So my 3 embellishment clusters end up there where I'm working now. I have one below the bottom right of the photo and the top left of the photo tucked in there between the journaling strip and the circle. I put a sticker on there. It's a Creative Memories sticker, says Getaway. It looks nice just on the bottom of that glassine bag. I thought I had already glued those down, but I did not. I keep thinking I'm almost out of this Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, but there always seems to be enough left to finish the project I'm on. I'm sure one of these days it is going to be completely empty, but I store it upside down right now, so I can usually get some glue out of it. And there, those are all down now. I've had fun doing this month of Scraptember. If you haven't looked at any of the Scraptember prompts or layouts, go ahead and join the Scraptember Facebook group. There's been so much inspiration there. It's really nice to see. And I love seeing the wide variety. Now I have some stickers that are like a tab, and I put one of those with each embellishment cluster. They're all varying shades of gray. They have a little bit of a stripe pattern to them as well. I put a sticker at the top that says Seeing the World, and I tuck a luggage tag behind it. You'll see toward the end that I end up putting another embellishment there as well because I didn't like the space that was left. And there I've done my journaling. It reads, I was blessed to grow up traveling, and I've always loved seeing and experiencing new places. By the time I was 17, Dan was traveling with my family. All these years later, exploring different locales brings us great joy. I'm not sure where we'll go next, but Michigan's Upper Peninsula, Quebec City, the Canadian Rockies, and Pennsylvania's Amish country are high on my list. There I went ahead and tucked in another piece of luggage up there because I just didn't like the empty space. There that is. There are some still shots coming up soon. And here I'm going ahead and adding in my Nuvo drops. I'm never really happy with where I put these. I wish I knew like a formula for where to put them or some guidelines. I just drop them in and then afterwards I wonder if I should have put them somewhere different. I used a dark gray here. They look black on the screen, but they're just a real dark gray. And I added some to each of the embellishment clusters. So that's the layout for today. Thank you for joining me. Hope you're having a great week. Bye.